Another football season coming up, and whether it's your first or your 20th year coaching, this time of year can really make you nervous. So here's 3 quick tips to make sure you get off to a good start this year.
We're not going to get a second chance in the game.
Every single year that you coach football brings new challenges, a new team, different personalities, and usually a different coaching staff. And with all that goes into running a program, you can tend to forget some things. So here's a few tips to get you started to make sure this season is a success. Number 1, have an install plan. And I mean an actual document on a computer or on paper that you can check things off when you get them done. We need to install X, Y, and Z. And that goes for everything that needs to be ready for game 1, offense, defense, and special teams. So create a document that shows what needs to be installed so that you can put a check mark next to it when it's done. Not only do you have to think about the things that happen on the field, but there's a lot going on off the field as well. There's so much to cover before game 1, even down to making sure you have an onside kick. Do you have a hands team? Do you have an extra point team? Who's going to take care of the kicking tees when the kicker is off playing defense? And even which of your coaches is going to set up the headsets before the game? Create yourself a massive checklist that you know everything that has to be ready for game 1 will be ready. Now, I've linked a video below that I think is a great resource for this from Dan DeBuff over on the online clinic. And DeBuff is a highly successful Illinois high school football coach, and he's got his entire summer install plan laid out for you. I would highly recommend watching that. Just give you some ideas for getting going. Tip number 2 is know when to stop. Now, more specifically, what I mean is, what do I not need to install before game 1? When you really put pen to paper, you'll find that some of your main plays, offensively or even defensive looks, are going to need more than 1 day of practice. I like to say, troubleshoot before tricks. Make sure you know how to troubleshoot your base systems before you worry about trick plays or exotic fronts or anything special or fancy. Now, the video I've linked below for this one comes from Butch Goncharoff. Multiple times, in fact, over 10 state championships he won out in the state of Washington at Bellevue High School. And this video, one of my favorite that we've ever made at Chief Pigskin, is it's not what we did, it's how we did it. I can't recommend watching that enough, and it really impacted my program as we took what we considered our bread and butter offensive play and made sure that we knew how to block that against every possible front we could see. Now, it did take extra time, and our playbook did have to reduce a bit, had to cut out some frills and fancy things in order to be able to block our base stuff against everything. That include even looks, over and under, odd stack, and then what do we do when we're getting interior blitzers? We had to rep this a ton, and that gave us a chance to be successful in game 1, just running our bread and butter plays. And tip number 3 comes down to this quote: best ball carrier behind best blockers. And that comes from a video by Brad Birchfield from Bishop Hartley High School in Columbus, Ohio. A visit that I made a couple years ago with Chief Pigskin. I'll link that one below as well. And just hearing Coach talk about it, at the end of the day, think players, not plays. And so as game 1 approaches, whether you're a month from it or a week from it, rather than thinking, what other magical thing do I need to have ready? I need to know, who's my best guy? Who are my best blockers? And how do I make sure that that combination of touches happens as often as possible? You can take the same concept and apply it to your special teams and to your defense. Make sure your best players are involved. Sometimes as coaches, it's easy to overcomplicate this game. So thank you for taking the time to watch these 3 quick tips. I hope you'll check out some of those links because all 3 of those videos really are fantastic. Thanks for keeping up with us here at Chief Pigskin. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to see the latest things that we're up to, you can find that at clinic.chiefpigskin.com.